Toyota is going to be finally entering the world of Formula One. That's right, Toyota, the Japanese car manufacturer, is going to be entering the world of Formula One in the next coming months. However, it's not going to be in the way that you might think. Now, the Formula One grid is comprised of 10 teams with 2 cars per team, adding up to 20 cars total. Toyota, instead of buying a team or adding a team to the grid, is going to be partnering with Haas. Haas is an existing American-based F1 team that has been on the grid since, I want to say, 2016. Now, Toyota decided to partner with Haas, and the reason why they decided to do a partnership is because the other 2 alternatives is either buying a team or starting a new team and adding 2 more cars to the 20 cars on the grid. While Toyota would have full control over the team if they did this, whether buying a team or creating a new team, there are some major complications that actually just led them to partner with Haas instead. And one of those main reasons is money. It is very expensive to buy or start a Formula One team. Let's say that you wanted to buy a Formula One team. Well, Formula One teams aren't exactly cheap. The last Formula One team was sold for $200 million, and that was Williams, one of the worst teams on the grid. Another Formula One team that was sold recently was the Force India Formula One team, which eventually turned into Aston Martin. This was sold for $117 million, and the only reason why it was sold so cheap is because the owner of Force India became under financial attack and had to offload assets quickly. This was bought by another billionaire named Lawrence Stroll, who put his son as one of the drivers and partnered with Aston Martin to turn Force India into the Aston Martin F1 team. All that to say that these teams are not cheap. In fact, a lot of people that are buying them are private investment firms and billionaires, not exactly car companies on their own. $100 to $200 million is a lot of money to drop on a race team, and that is just the purchase price of the team itself. The budget cap for Formula One per year is around $135 million. This fluctuates due to inflation and some market adjustment, but it hovers around that $135 million per year operating cost. That doesn't include driver salaries and certain other things that Formula One has deemed excluded from that operating cost. That means every single year after you buy this team, just to compete, you're going to be spending quite a bit of money in operations costs. So Toyota decided to stray away from the option of heavily investing into a team if it were to come up for sale, and having to spend this much every single year getting locked into a team that they may or may not make a return on. So that led to another option, fielding an additional team, basically adding 2 more cars to the grid and adding an 11th team. If buying a team is so expensive, then maybe creating a team is a little cheaper. However, Toyota looked at this option and saw Andretti Cadillac try to do this in the past couple of years and decided against it as well. F1 said that even if they allowed Andretti Cadillac to join the grid, which they probably were not going to, it would be an entry fee of $200 million just to add the team to the grid, which means to add a team just to get into the grid, you're still spending in that $200 million range. Not to mention all of the car development, the team building, the drivers, all of it is going to cost so much money that at that point you're spending hundreds of millions of dollars, maybe even upwards into the billions of dollars just to field a car in Formula One. Now, Toyota, being the smart car company that they are, decided we're not going to spend millions of dollars just to get a car onto the F1 grid, when we could just partner with an existing car company or an existing team that already has a car on the Formula One grid. And so that's what Toyota did. So which team did Toyota partner with? Well, it's Haas. If you're not familiar with Formula One, Haas is a midfield team at best. They're sitting 7th in the Constructors' Championship overall out of 10 teams. Yeah, that's not really great. So why did Toyota choose Haas, and why are Toyota even doing this in the first place? Well, there's a couple reasons for both of those questions. First, let's focus on why Toyota chose Haas. Now, there are a couple of huge benefits in doing this. One of the ways is it's going to be way cheaper to join a lower midfield team rather than one of the higher up teams like Red Bull, Ferrari, Aston Martin, McLaren. It's going to be way more expensive to join them, and also there's going to be less opportunities in those teams because they already have great development, whereas Haas, Alpine, Racing Bulls, some of these lower midfield teams are going to be, one, more affordable to join and have more opportunities to join because there are less people willing to partner with those teams. Basically, if you're not winning, then people don't really want their name on your car because it makes you look slow and not cool. Bigger brands are more likely to partner with teams that are winning rather than teams that are losing because it makes them look better as a brand overall. For example, Google is partnering with McLaren, Red Bull obviously has their own car, Aston Martin has partnered with Lawrence Stroll and that team, and Ferrari has the name Ferrari on it, along with luxury brands like Ray-Ban. So there was some opportunity for Toyota to join Haas. There were not many people lining up to join the 7th team on the grid. Not only that, it was probably a very beneficial deal for Toyota. Toyota probably got very favorable terms with pricing and partnership rules than they would have with another team like Ferrari that they really want to do things their way. By Toyota partnering with Haas, it actually gives them an opportunity to show how good they are at building a car. Toyota has done a great job in the past couple of years in other racing series. So basically, they saw some value in partnering with Haas because not only do they get a good deal and favorable terms, but it also, if Haas starts doing better after the Toyota partnership, which is more likely than not because Haas is so far down on the grid, it's harder for them to do worse. Basically, it means Toyota has shown the world that they have improved Haas as a racing team. Therefore, Toyota is the reason that Haas is doing better, which makes Toyota look amazing because even if they're not high up in the grid, if they even move up a couple of places, it makes it look like Toyota worked some special magic to make the car better. Not only this, Toyota isn't exactly new to racing. They've been doing really well in the World Endurance Championship, the World Rally Championship, even divisions like NASCAR. So someone in the higher ups at Toyota said it's finally time that we join Formula One. So someone decided to take Toyota Guzzi Racing, which is the racing division at Toyota, or TGR, and partner it with Haas. Now, the benefits to Toyota are very obvious here. They get into Formula One at a low price, and it allows them to showcase some of their ability in improving the Haas vehicle. So what does Haas get out of it? Well, I kind of just said it, and it improves the Haas vehicle. Again, Haas is not a very good F1 team. They've been sitting at the back of the grid consistently for, well, since they entered in 2016. So by partnering with Toyota, it allows them to take some of the expertise that Toyota has learned from the World Endurance Championship, from the World Rally Championship, and the NASCAR Championships, and take some of that special magic that they've been putting on those cars and put it into the Formula One car that Haas has, I don't want to say butchered, but haven't fully optimized yet, I think is the best way to say it. Not only that, Toyota is no stranger to Formula One. Back in 2009, they actually supplied engines for over 8 seasons in Formula One. Now, these engines weren't specifically known for doing amazing, but they didn't do terrible either. Cars with these scored a total of 13 podiums, with the highest place being 4th overall, which in Formula One is not very easy to do, especially against big car companies like Ferrari, Honda, McLaren, and the other engine manufacturers that were in Formula One during that time. Not only this, Toyota still has their Formula One development center. In fact, they've been using it for their World Endurance Championship car and their World Rally Championships car. So they've basically been taking their Formula One development center and creating the absolute monster of vehicles we've seen in these other divisions. So Haas is going to get access to some of this technology and manufacturing and technical data, and then Toyota is going to get some of Haas's technical expertise, along with some commercial opportunities. Basically, Toyota gets their name on the car and some partnerships with Haas, which is a CNC machine company. They do actually sell CNC machines. That's what Haas is, apart from racing. Now, Toyota and Haas weren't super clear with the exact terms of this agreement, how much money Toyota paid in, what exactly the details are gonna be on who gets what. It's kind of just like, hey, we're trading each other here, and it's gonna be good for both of us. The other detail that they did add is this is a multi-year agreement. It is not just for the rest of this season or only one season up and coming. They have also made it clear that Haas is going to be still in charge of the full race strategy. In fact, they're not even going to be using new engine components, new suspension components, or anything else for the car that Toyota develops. It's more like Haas gets access to their facilities to use the parts in the car that they've already created. And the reason for this is another partnership. In fact, Haas is actually already partnered with Ferrari all the way through 2028. That means Haas is already using the Ferrari engine, suspension, and gearbox, along with Haas is using their wind tunnel at Ferrari as well to test their vehicles. Haas has said that there is going to be no impact to this partnership, and that partnership is going to proceed all the way through 2028, just as originally designed. So for everybody that got really excited out there that we are going to be seeing some improvement from Haas because it was going to have Toyota engineering and gearboxes and all this stuff, it's probably not going to be that much of an improvement. It is still going to be designed by Haas and is still going to be using the same parts pretty much. Along with this, it's going to be tested in the same wind tunnel. The main difference is they get access to Toyota kind of pointing them in the right direction is kind of what it sounds like. Another huge benefit to Haas, as well as Toyota, I guess, as well, isn't really on the manufacturing side or the race strategy side. It's actually on the driver pool side of things. Contrary to what you may think, it is very difficult to find someone to drive in Formula One. While there are a lot of people that want to drive in Formula One, that doesn't necessarily mean that they can for a couple of reasons. Not only is it very expensive and very difficult to get licensed to drive in Formula One, basically you have to have a FIA super license, which is very expensive, and you have to re-register it every year and can easily be taken away from you if you drive too aggressively. Let's say even if you get your super license, you still have to be able to drive these absolute beasts of vehicles. Formula One cars are not just your average race car. These cars are considered to be the tippity top of the racing world. They are 1,000 horsepower hybrid engines, which basically produce insane amounts of power and torque and apply it to the ground in such a way that you can take corners at insane speeds. In fact, we've seen some older Formula One drivers struggle with some of these newer hybrid vehicles. For example, Danny Ricciardo was an amazing driver, but he seemed to start struggling as it transferred into hybrid vehicles. Lewis Hamilton, a 7-time or 8-time world champion, depending on how you see things, struggles with the newer Mercedes. And while yes, some of this is chalked up to the newer developments in the other teams, these are not easy cars to drive. And you're going up against some of the other best drivers in the world. So the supply of good drivers is very small and the demand is somewhat high because you need 2 drivers per team, you need an alternate driver, and you need to be looking to the future for more drivers to take their place. Even then, if you have a competitive car, you need a competitive driver to win championships. All that to say that now Haas has access to a bunch of FIA super licensed drivers from the World Endurance Championship that Toyota has been developing for quite a while. In fact, there are actually already a couple of Formula One drivers that drive in the World Endurance Championship for Toyota, such as Nick de Vries. So through this partnership, there are some major benefits to both Haas and Toyota. However, if Haas continues to perform badly, it could look bad on Toyota because they are the changing factor, and if nothing changes, then maybe Toyota kind of loses out on this partnership. Now for Haas, I see this as pretty much only a good thing. They get access to a new driver pool, they get access to a new development center, they get access to Toyota's expertise, and if they do better or worse, it really doesn't matter because they're already so far back in the grid. Really, the only way for them to go is up, and if Toyota doesn't really deliver that for them, they're still Haas. They still exist. They're still there. They get more money coming from Toyota, and it gives them a little bit of a PR bump. However, this could be very dangerous for Toyota. If Haas continues to perform badly, then Toyota is going to have their name on one of the worst F1 cars that exists. Meanwhile, they're winning other championships like the World Endurance Championship and the World Rally Championship and NASCAR, meaning what went wrong with Formula One. This could just damage Toyota's brand if not done correctly, but knowing Toyota, they have thought this through and they know exactly what they're doing. Personally, I'm super excited to see Toyota join the Formula One grid in the next coming months and to stay on it hopefully for the next coming years. However, what do you guys think? Do you think this is a good idea for Toyota? Do you think it's a good idea for Haas? Or do you think this could backfire in either Haas's face or Toyota's face? I'd love to know your thoughts on it down below. And if you guys want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of my future uploads, and leave a like on the video because that lets me know that you guys like the content that I'm making. With that said, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope to see you on the next one. Bye.